Black Coffee knows P. Diddy now. I didn't say anything, but I'm just saying.
Y.A.D Totiro.
What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing good. Today, we have an interesting video. We got Brian Jr.'s World in the building. I've had enough. Black Coffee snaps over Entle Mbali drama. This is bad. And I've been seeing it circulating on the internet, and it's not really looking good for Black Coffee. You know, owning half of his assets. That's tough. Let's tap in.
Well, it seems like Black Coffee is genuinely going to have a heart attack regarding the latest court ruling that states that Entle Mbali is unfortunately entitled to half of his estate. And this ruling comes from the Constitutional Court, meaning Black Coffee is pretty much done. However, Black Coffee is doing something interesting because he's not backing down. And obviously, the internet being the internet, they'd start to give their opinion regarding this story.
Really proud of Black Coffee for deciding to appeal the ruling on his divorce with Entle Mbali Mlotshwa. What had come out...
I just want to mention this point quickly. It was way back, me and my boys, we were in grade 11. We also, you know, saw a video similar to this, some other guy. You know, they got divorced with this woman, and then the moment the woman wanted, you know, half of his assets, just to find out, you know, the guy wrote his name, he wrote his mom under his assets, which was kind of smart. You get what I'm saying? So I think for all men, we should start doing that. You get what I'm saying? Don't write your assets under your name. Put someone you trust, so you know when you face these kind of situations, you're safe.
Out was that when they signed their prenup, Black Coffee was already married to Entle Mbali according to the Western laws, and therefore their prenup doesn't hold, which means they were essentially married in community of property, and she was entitled to a lot of his assets and his wealth. Sure. He's appealed that because, to be honest, that case and that ruling had huge implications on the marital regime in South Africa, that if you have paid ilobolo and the families have met, etc., on that day you become legally married in South African law. So whatever comes from that point on is invalid. That means you can't sign a prenup. That means you guys are married in community of property by default. Damn. Black Coffee is appealing this at the Supreme Court of Appeal, etc., etc. We're going to see how this plays out. I think it's very important and it's going to have huge implications. I'm making this video because I'm making a plea to Black South Africans. Guys, you need to pick a side. You need to pick a struggle. Some of the biggest issues that Black South Africans have is because they are still marrying cultural, customary, traditional ways of living with Western, modern, white ways of living. And this is what's causing confusion, legal battles, money lost, domestic violence, and other such things.
It seems like Black Coffee would do something that's not usual for him to do. Because in one of the videos Penuel posted in regards to him thanking Black Coffee for fighting this Constitutional Court ruling, Black Coffee would start to divulge information regarding this entire process and where exactly his line of thought is regarding this entire process, where he would say, "You're absolutely spot on. I'm probably going to get in trouble with my legal team for this comment, but as you said, this isn't about me anymore. And keeping quiet with this hasn't helped me in any way. The details of our case are out there at this point. The case you mentioned is different from our case because there was no customary marriage. However, here are a few important points to note and some of the reasons for my appeal. Number one, the intention. We both never intended to do a customary marriage. All the details supporting this are in our case from the both of us. And number two, the prenup. We signed this as our first step to the agreed civil marriage. Even our prenup states that we were unmarried. I obviously won't divulge more than this, but I do hope that this carries enough weight to keep the conversation going for all. And obviously people would completely lose their mind at the fact that Black Coffee has finally given his take regarding this entire situation, with one comment saying, "In this matter, Black Coffee is merely throwing money around, not advancing a sustainable case. Mbali has already demonstrated the existence of a customary marriage. The invitation card, now before the court as an exhibit, clearly invited guests to a traditional wedding and explicitly referred to umembeso, lobola, and umbondo in 3 different dates. Despite this, he persists in arguing that there was no agreement, an argument that stands in direct contradiction to the very evidence that was placed before the court. He's absolutely playing." And even another comment saying, "Ah, shame, they were attending someone's traditional wedding in these photos. You guys don't remember? The Grootman obviously hates the mother of his kids and he's not even blinking about it." With a post showing obviously the images of Black Coffee and Entle Mbali's customary marriage. But even a crazier comment saying, "Did he even love her?" And even another comment would continue to flame Black Coffee saying, "Number 1, intention, never intended to do a customary marriage. Yet there was umembeso celebration and pics were taken for media outlets. Hi, Coffee is really losing it."
Yeah, man. Also, Black Coffee, from what I've seen online, I think he cheated, something like that, which is also not good. I don't support that. Don't cheat. You know, you'll end up divorcing your wife and yeah, there will be a whole lot of drama. But at the same time, it's like, damn, bro. Taking half of his assets?
And I do believe that this is the case because you can imagine with you, Black Coffee is having sleepless nights over having to pay Entle Mbali literally half of his entire estate. That's enough to make any man wake up in a cold sweat at night. But it seems like more and more people would start coming forward in defense and support of Black Coffee and really urging him to continue fighting this matter because genuinely in their eyes, Entle Mbali doesn't deserve a single cent from Black Coffee, at least not half of his entire estate.
And the crazy thing is, Entle Mbali only wanted 100k from Black Coffee per month. And that 100k was possibly to take care of herself and her children.
Guys, thina siphumene kuleti ndzaba temishado wabo Entle nabo Black Coffee. Yini lesoyiluza thina? Perhaps wow. Thina sinalutho ngeke sidliwe lutho. Udliwa ama-under ethu uyowendana soluloku stressa. Lo mthetho wona uhlupha bona laba bemali. Thina sinalutho thina. It's right siso. Yabo.
Now this ruling might mean that his case is going to lose it. And then I don't know if he's going to appeal to the Constitutional Court, which already has made this ruling. This is my issue and this is why I'm making this video. I've had people speak to me because I made a video before. What's your beef with Entle Mbali Mlotshwa? I've got no beef. I actually am a huge fan of Entle Mbali Mlotshwa. I'm not supporting of Black Coffee. I'm a supporter. I'm out. I'm a cheater. No, I don't know Black Coffee personally. I don't know him. I apologize. But their case has got such a huge implication to ordinary South Africans everywhere.
However, in all seriousness, I want us to just rein this message in a little bit and take this thing a bit seriously because we're dealing with 2 different people here who are looking at the same thing, but they're drawing 2 different conclusions at what they're looking at. Because at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, does Entle Mbali genuinely deserve to receive 50% of Black Coffee's entire net worth? And was their customary marriage in South Africa legal grounds for Entle Mbali to earn half of his entire estate? And according to the Constitutional Court, it absolutely was, because we are in South Africa. And I want to look at this entire situation from a different lens because I can see there's a lot of discourse and a lot of arguing as to whether or not she should get it and whether or not she shouldn't get it. But I genuinely think that we're all having the wrong conversation. You see, Entle Mbali is a very interesting character in Black Coffee's life because she knew Black Coffee before he was the man he is today. She knew him before the P. Diddy's. She knew him before the household name we've all come to love and appreciate in 2020.
Black Coffee knows P. Diddy now. I didn't say anything, but I'm just saying.
26. But I want to take it a step further because she not only knew him before he was anybody, she bore his 2 children. For the people out there who genuinely think that Entle Mbali doesn't deserve half of Black Coffee's estate, I want you to look at it from this perspective. Entle Mbali knows Black Coffee at his darkest moments. Entle Mbali knows Black Coffee at his most trying times. These people would probably have conversations about what they would do, the plans that they had, the places they would go when Black Coffee made it big. The Bible even says, whomever finds a wife finds a good thing because that person receives favor from God. The fact that Black Coffee was able to build this empire as strong as it was, I believe wouldn't have been possible without a rock like Entle Mbali alongside him, pushing him when he felt like he couldn't go any further, pulling him up when everybody around him tried to bring him down. Whether or not we like to admit it, nobody knows Black Coffee as intimately as Entle Mbali does. Nobody knows Black Coffee at his lowest like Entle Mbali does. Nobody knows Black Coffee when things just weren't working out like Entle Mbali does. So the question you should be asking is not whether Entle Mbali deserves it, it's whether that woman, that rock, that anchor, the mother of his children, deserves what he's built. Because if we're going to be honest, he didn't build it alone. A lot of these men who have become great and have amassed a lot of wealth, a lot of them understand that having a wife is of utmost importance, whether or not there were issues in the marriage. Because the wives of your Jeff Bezos, your Bill Gates, your Black Coffees are just as important. It's just that their importance was never recorded by the media. Their importance was never chanted and seen in stadiums of millions. Their importance was never recorded for cameras to see because their importance was displayed behind closed doors, building the men we see today. But unfortunately, money does that. When you have money, all of a sudden you forget who you struggled with. All of a sudden you forget the promises you made to the people around you. You forget that you had people.
Yeah, man. Oh, this guy is saying nothing but facts, though. Definitely, you know, Black Coffee's ex-wife definitely contributed to his success. He's been there for years, been struggling with Black Coffee, and it's just one of the things that won't be mentioned. You get what I'm saying? But here's the tricky part now. People are asking themselves, does, you know, Entle Mbali deserve half of Black Coffee's wealth? Some people might be yes, some people might be no. I don't know. But it's tricky when, let's just say someone becomes your wife, you know, on your way to success, or you're already successful but not as successful, and then you guys divorce, which means also that person deserves half of your wealth. You know, you get what I'm saying? So if it has to change that, okay, half of the wealth of a man, when, you know, she's married to a wife and they divorce, should go to the wife, if only they've been together for years. So will now things change? So will it only be women who have been through in the darkest moments with you until up, but not the women who have found you at the top? You know, now it's gonna change the dynamics of all this, you know.
Who cared for you when you were nothing. You forget that you had people who looked after you when you had nothing to your name. All of a sudden, when we have money, we forget the most important people who were always beside us. And that's why what Black Coffee is doing is nothing but greed. Because he should take a book out of Jeff Bezos, who decided, you know what, my ex-wife does deserve half of what I've built. Because he knows he didn't do it alone. I just want you to understand that I'm not saying Black Coffee is not talented, because he'll continue to make more and more money in the future. He will continue to sell out stadiums and pack out Dubai concerts. That's not even in question. But Black Coffee shouldn't do what many of us do when we have a little bit of money in our pockets. And that's forget the people who took care of us.
Yeah, man. It is true. You get what I'm saying? Like, someone has been with you from the bottom to the top. They really deserve, a huge amount of money from your assets. You get what I'm saying? But now things will have to change when it comes to the courts. If let's just say I'm getting married, you know, to someone, and then they've been with me throughout the struggles, and then in future after 10, 15 years we divorce, definitely they deserve half of my wealth. So now for my ex-wife, you'll only deserve half of my wealth if you've been through with me in the trenches. But if you found me, successful, you don't deserve that. Which means that's how things will go if, we say Bali deserves half of Black Coffee's wealth. But you guys comment down below and tell me what you think. Does she really deserve it? Does she deserve like literally 50% or just money but not 50%? Or what do you guys think? I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. I'm gonna catch you. Love you. Take care.